Hey Graham, beer me. Yes. Hello ladies and gentlemen, soldiers and scouts. Welcome to this, the fourth and highly anticipated episode of I'm Brews. That's right, the show where I finally show you how to actually brew something. Something nice, something simple, and something alcoholic. Now, before you Americans start preparing your stills and before you Irish start getting the poteen ready, I'm not doing anything complicated like that quite yet. Start simple, build up. Today's episode is all about the very foundation of alcohol, and that is simple kit form homebrew beer. It's nice, it's quick, it's easy, and you can't go wrong with it. Trust me. Okay, first of all, let's start by talking about the kit that you've bought. Kit form beers come in several different varieties, ranging from this one, which is a 2-can, 2-sachet kit, to a very simple and standard single can kit. Now, with the single cans, what you'll get is a single large tin can which contains a thick, syrupy substance which is called your wort. Now, what your wort is, very simply, is a barley extract mixed with hops. This is the foundation stone of your homebrew. With a single can kit, all you have to do is add about 6-ish pints of boiling water, then top up to 40 pints with cold water, add a horrendous amount of sugar, and then leave. Quite simple, quite quick, but they lack style, they lack substance, and in all honesty, they lack taste. Now, a kit like this one, what you get is 2 big cans like this. Both of these contain a wort. In one can, you have a barley wort, in the other can, you have a hop wort. Now, also, in here, as I said, it's 2 sachet. What that means is you have 1 sachet of yeast, which is the kickstarter for your beer, and you have 1 sachet of hop enhancer. This really, really helps to bring out the flavour. Now, if you still want to go for a single can form, but you want a bit of a deeper taste in it, what you can do is, rather than putting sugar into it, as your instructions will tell you, you can buy a hop substitute, which will do exactly the same job as the sugar, but will help to give you a bit of a deeper and a bit of a richer taste to it. Alright then, that's your kits. Now then, moving on from kits to kit, what you will need to do your homebrew. It really is quite simple, it's very easy to get a hold of. There's several websites out there, 2 I know for a fact which are very good and very reasonably priced, available here in the UK, is homebrewonline.com, each word separated with a dash, or alternately the one I use, which is www.goodlifehomebrew.com. Both available here in the UK. If you're out there in the US and you still want to have a go, check down in the description for the video, and there'll be some links there for you. Now, the kit you will need. You'll need one of these, a 40-pint primary fermentation barrel with a tight sealed lid. You'll need one of these, a pressurised secondary fermentation barrel with a spigot tap and a carbon dioxide injector lid. Also, what you'll need is a box of varying miscellanea. Everything from heating belts, which you might need if you have a cold house or you want to put your homebrew out in the cellar while it brews so it's not taking up valuable space. Carbon dioxide injection things. Siphoning tubes, and everything in between. I just keep everything in one box. It makes things a lot easier. And don't forget, most important of all, sterilisation solution. Now, for today's episode, you will not need your secondary fermentation barrel. You will need a primary fermentation barrel. Mine's already been sterilised. Make sure you sterilise yours. If you don't know how to sterilise something, where have you been for the last 3 episodes? Go back to episode 2 and look it up. Okay, right then. Actually starting the primary fermentation procedure for your homebrew is very simple. You have your 2 cans, or your 1 can, whatever you bought, of wort, that thick, syrupy, molassesy type substance. You need to empty that into your primary fermentation barrel. Now, because it's so thick, it's often quite hard to get out of the can. There's a nice little trick with that. What you need to do, you need to give it a 5 or 10 minute bath in some nice warm water. That helps to thin it out, makes it a lot runnier, a lot easier to deal with. You'll see what I mean. Now then, if you have any questions about anything from this video, or from any of the other videos that I've done, please don't hesitate to not contact me. It'd be very much appreciated. Now then, there we go. It's quite nice and quite disgusting at the same time. But as you'll see, it's thick and syrupy. This is where a big spoon comes in handy. A big spoon can be your friend on many an occasion, and this is but one of them. Of course, you want to try and get as much of the wort out of the can as possible, because it's in there, you might as well get it out. Why waste it? But obviously there is a limit to how long you can sit holding a can upside down. Now then, if that was a 1 can kit, I'd be done now. I'd add some hot water, some cold water, some yeast, sorted. This isn't a 1 can kit, this is a 2 can kit. So, can number 2. Like I say though, you're seeing the wort after it's already been warmed, so it's already been thinned. The first time I did this, I didn't warm the cans up because I didn't know. And it took me about 20 minutes to get the stuff out of the cans. It was absolutely disgusting. I also managed to cover myself in it quite impressively. There we go, tin number 2. You get a beautiful smell off this. It smells like you've walked into a brewery. It's one of the wonderful things about homebrew. It's not just the fact you get all of that lovely, lovely beer at the end. It's the smell you get from it. And it's the enjoyment you get from making it yourself. Also, something I probably should have said at the beginning. This pack of beer produces roughly 38 pints. It cost me £20. Do the maths. Think how far £20 would get you in your local pub. Now think how far it'll get you at home. always handy to keep your bowl sterilised water close, just in case you feel like licking your fingers. Right, now that you've got your wort in the barrel, we'll move on to step 2. Alright then, step 2. You got your wort in the barrel, all you need to do now is add some hot water. 6 pints of boiled water, or 3.5 litres. When I say boiled, I mean boiling hot, still hot. Don't boil it and let it go cold, it doesn't work. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can really, really get that beautiful smell now. Now you've added your hot water, what you need to do is top it up with, in this case, you need to top it up with 32 pints of cold water. The amount of cold water you add will depend, varying on what kit you're using and how much that kit says it will produce. As I say, this one says, actually it says it will produce 36 pints of beer. So I need to add 32 pints. I'm wrong, it's 38 pints of beer, I'm sorry. Drunk off the fumes. Yeah, this one says it will produce 38 pints of beer, so I've got 6 pints of hot water in there. All I need to do now is add 32 pints of cold water. 38 pints of beer. So, you can either now grab your handy 32 pints of cold water containing vessel, as I have here, and fill her up. Alternately, if you don't want to go through that, these barrels have markers on the side to show you how much liquid there is in there. If you want a quick way of filling it up, stick it under the bath tap, run the cold tap until it fills up to the level it tells you to. Right, give it a good old stir with your trusty long-handled spoon. Don't worry if your hand goes in there. If you've sterilised your hand, it should be fine. If you haven't, then you disgust me. So after doing that, you need to add whatever sachet is provided with your kit. If you've got a single can kit, you'll be provided with just a yeast sachet. If you've got a 2-part kit like this one, you'll get a yeast sachet and a hop enhancing sachet. Alright? So it's quite simple. You cut it open with the pair of scissors that I don't have with it. I'm going to go find a pair of scissors. Ah. Or even better, a kniffy. There we go. So, sprinkle your yeast over it. Then lose the other packet you were holding. Now, why does that one tear open and the other one doesn't? Ooh. And again, just sprinkle that over it. As I've already said, one of the nice things about homebrew is the smell. And I can tell you the smell is getting better and better and better already. Give it another good stir. to mix your yeast culture and your hops in. Sorry, I can pause. Don't worry about how it looks. It's all about how it smells. And eventually, it's all about how it tastes. Now, homebrew kits like this typically tend to take 4 weeks. 1 week in primary fermentation, which is this stage. 3 weeks in secondary fermentation, which is in your pressurised barrel. Now, as you might have guessed, this is only one evening. This isn't 4 weeks. So this is a two-parter episode, alright? Now, I'll tell you what to do, or what you need to do now. I'll see you guys again in a month with what you need to be doing in a week. I like to make things easy for you, don't I? Okay. You need to put your barrel somewhere quiet, somewhere it won't be disturbed. You put your lid back on it. And leave it. Now it needs to be left somewhere where it will maintain a temperature of roughly 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. It needs this temperature to start fermentation. Now if it's below that temperature, your fermentation will either take a lot longer to happen, or if it's above that temperature, your fermentation may happen too quickly. I don't quite know what the result of that is. It might work, it might not. Try it, find out. Experiment, science! Regardless, try and keep it at 18 to 20 degrees. Now, my barrel, somewhere, I don't know if you can see this, I don't know if it's in shot, has got a nice little heat-sensitive thermometer on the side. Tells me what temperature it is. You can get those very easily from any of the homebrew sites I listed. Now, if you live in a cold house, or you want to put your barrel in the cellar, somewhere out of the way, you can buy one of these nifty little devices. It's a heating belt. Very, very simple. Wrap it around your barrel, plug it in, leave it alone. These will keep it at the right temperature. I swear by them. And finally, my beautiful, beloved toy soldiers, before I leave you, one last and important thing. This piece of kit. This is a hydrometer. This measures the specific gravity of your beer. And no, I don't mean how heavy it is, I mean the alcohol content. This will tell you how far through the fermentation process your beer is. So, what you need to do over the course of the next 4 to 6 days, which is the time your fermentation should take, drop this in once a day after about 2 or 3 days. There's little indicators up the side to indicate the gravity your beer is. And when your gravity reaches 1104 degrees of gravity, once it has stayed at 1104 for 2 days, you're ready to move on to secondary fermentation. I'll be showing you guys how to do that one next month. Ciao.